It's all about humanity.
Well, here we are, people. This is my first live stream of 2024. So whilst this is old for a lot of you, I guess the first thing I've got to do is say Happy New Year, everyone. Probably not hoping that 2024 is going to be an awesome year for everyone, particularly those that are involved in Bitcoin. So welcome, everyone. Today is the 4th of January, 2024. For those of you that are finding the channel for the first time, I am Brian. I am known as the UKBitcoinMaster, and my channel is called, here we go, the Bullish Bitcoin channel. Why did I name it that? Purely because the BBC is full of BS. The Bullish Bitcoin channel will give you nothing but Bitcoin signal. And that's what I try to do twice a week on a Monday and on a Thursday. Every week, barring illness, vacation, or no signal, you will find me live. I would encourage you all to go back and look through my archives. Through all the years since early 2018, I've been live streaming, and I defy anyone to find any show of mine where I'm bearish on Bitcoin. Now, don't mix that up with bearish on the price of Bitcoin and bearish on Bitcoin at the asset and the network over the long term. That's what I mean. So there's great signal back in my archives. So if you're brand new to the channel, I would encourage you to go to the archives. The first thing I would do is say, look, don't come here looking for financial advice, because you are simply not going to find it. I would say go to those QR codes or those addresses and check out the archives. There are hundreds and hundreds of videos over there. So why wouldn't you? Including over 80 live interviews with some of the greatest minds in Bitcoin currently at bitcoininterviews.com. So do check them out. I would also say again, starting the year as I mean to go on, that if you have your funds on an exchange, then you do not own those coins. You may think you do, but the exchange does, i.e. it's an attack vector, it has a weak point, governments can shut it down, co-opt it, etc. They're not your coins. If you want to hold your coins and know that you are self-sovereign, get them off of an exchange onto a hardware device of choice. For years now, I've been using a Trezor. I keep thinking, shall I change? But, you know, it's secure, it's offline. I never use a Trezor suite. I always use Electrum behind Tor. So I don't really see any necessity to change at this point because I really do like Trezor. Very, very quickly, if I may, it is so important that you follow me on some other platforms. Look, this goes out on BitChute, on Rumble. It goes out on podcasts. It goes out everywhere. So I would encourage you to, excuse me, go into the show notes, click on the Linktree link, find these links, and follow me somewhere. I would urge you to do that. I'm going to start the year off as I did the end last year. We all need to get on the Orange Pill app. If you're not on it, get on it. Use my link and get 10,000 free sats for joining. Everyone that's anyone in Bitcoin, like the Natalie Brunels, BTC Sessions, Saifedean and Moose, there are so many people on the Orange Pill app. I would encourage you to get on, because that is the social layer of Bitcoin being built out right before our eyes. Okay, so sorry, tickling throat to start it all off. What do I normally do on every show? I want to give some people a shout out that are in the chat, and there's a few surprises as I look in my chat. So who have we got? Paul, good to see you live, dude. I know sometimes you can't get in live. BitcoinMeister's in the house. As always, check out BitcoinMeister on YouTube or at TechBalt, TechBalt on Twitter. I've been following Adam for over 6.5 years now. A great hardened Bitcoiner without a doubt. John G, UK, Uncool Hodler, Arizona, JB Bitcoiner, UK, Mike W. Yeah, I got you that message there, Mike, UK as well. Yorkie Bitcoiner, UK, Vinny Rondo, Staten Island. Chaz Oid is in the house. Welcome, Chaz. Strange character there. Elaine misses you. Oh, that's my better half. I better say nice things. Casso is with us. Casso, it is always a delight when you're in my live chat. Thank you for being here. And Kristin Lauderback is in the house. Kristin, it is good to see you. Where have you been? Crazy. Haven't seen you for ages, but it's nice to know you're still around. Daniel Street is in the house. Mr. 60. Jason Jones, Bards Dobnik, Barefoot Barry coming in from New Zealand. Who else? G Squared. Gabe is in the house. Matthew Underhill. Johnny Midas is with us. Look, people, thank you for being here. It is great that you are all here. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm saying that as we start 2024, because I appreciate every one of my guests, the people that support the channel, like it, share it, whatever. So it's great that you're all here. And I like to bring you all into my chat, which is why I start the show by giving people a shout out. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Brian. Well, it's good to see you. Ludwig, oh, crikey. Ludwig Zibruskas. I hope I have not butchered that too much, coming in from New Jersey. Sam Wright is in the house. Look, I could spend the whole show just welcoming people in, but I've got to get on and talk. Okay, so I'm trying something new, and I'm trying to remember what I need to be doing next. I've got a new scene. Okay. So my thumbnail is don't be out of your Bitcoin position in 2024. We've heard it said so many times, and if you're new, you won't be aware of this, but we've heard this said so many times that, you know, I think 90% of the gains in Bitcoin can happen over just 11 days in a cycle, something like that. I might be butchering it. I might be butchering it, and if I am, my point is, if you are out of the market in that short window of time, you can actually lose so much value. Don't be out of it. But that's not the main reason. If I go over to this new screen, look, here's the Bitcoin halving clock. We are 103 days, 9 hours and 48 minutes from the next halving. If you're new and you don't know what the halving is, you've got to do some research, because it means the block reward is going to be cut in half. Every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin rewarded to the person who finds the block every 10 minutes gets cut in half. Started out at 50 coins every 10 minutes. Then it went down to 25, then 12.5, then 6.25 in 2020. And in 2024, that goes to 3.125 Bitcoin instead of 50 that it was back 15 years ago. By the way, happy birthday Bitcoin for yesterday. Not your keys, not your coins day. So I tweeted that out. That's all out there already. So the halving is galloping towards us, people, and you do not want to be out of position. Then, if you listen to any type of mainstream media FUD that Bitcoin's going nowhere, you are looking at the top assets in the US and the world when you look at silver, etc., by market cap. And as you can see, gold is up there, Apple, Microsoft, Saudi Aramco from the Formula One. And then when you get down here, you get to number 10 and you've got Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the 10th largest asset by market cap, and it's only just starting its journey. It actually flipped Meta a few days ago, but dropped back down again. And true to form, this has been my form all the way through the 6.5, nearly 7 years in Bitcoin. And that is, whenever there is a pump, or whenever I buy, I should say, there's a huge dump. And I bought a large cash buy at 45.8. And then it went and dumped down, I think, to about 41-ish, something like that. But hey, that's just short-term thinking. The thing's recovering. You can see now we're just over 44K again. So that type of thing doesn't bother me at all. 2,269 sats per dollar if you've got a dollar lying around. So people, trust me, Bitcoin will start to notch up this list. And you do not want to be out of the market. Here's another interesting one I found. Bitcoin's profitable days. Look at the red on, well, I think my cursor should show you it. Look, these are the only times that if you bought Bitcoin, you were out of pocket, as well as this tiny blip right here. Even I'm out of pocket at the moment, buying at, just under 46, and now it's 44. So I'm out of pocket at the moment. But hey, listen, what you got to understand is most people that have bought Bitcoin are in the green, and it's going to get even better. Jim Andrews, Darren Jarvis, good to see you guys in the house. Smash the like button, people. Really, really important. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is don't be out of the market, particularly when you see what we've got coming up. All hell is going to start breaking loose. So if where do I need to be? I need to get into the right app. Yep, this is the one. So if I come back over here and we start to move on, what I want to do is have a look at why you shouldn't be out of the market, what the drivers are for Bitcoin adoption. And the first one, we could be days away from an ETF or several, maybe 8 to 12 ETFs being approved. All hell's going to break loose. I don't know if I can say that. All hell. It's going to go mad. It's going to go absolutely nuts. I've been waiting. No, I don't care about ETFs. I mean, if it happens and it helps number go up, then that's great. But I'm very much wanting to be self-sovereign and wanting people to be self-sovereign, not put your money in an ETF, which can be co-opted by governments. But the point is, in terms of number go up and your investment and not being out of the market, what you don't want to do is be out of the market thinking the price is going to go down and then it goes up and you've got to buy back in at a higher price so you get less sats for your money. Obviously, we've got that halving that I've been talking about that is coming up every 4 years. Exciting time leading up to the halving, and then a monstrously exciting time after the halving. So I lived through the halving of 2020 and then 2021. I wasn't in 2016, but I was in early 2017, and I experienced the bull run, buying my first 5 Bitcoins, I believe, at 2K a coin and watching them go to 20K and still holding them solid. So let me put it to you, 2K a coin, now at 44K a coin, 6.5 years. Is that a pretty good return? What's that, 22x on my early Bitcoins I bought? And we got another halving coming up now. And think about this. We keep hearing about a supply squeeze. What about a demand squeeze or a demand shock when the supply gets cut in half, but the demand stays the same or goes up because of the ETFs? This is why people are saying this could very well be, all hell will break loose, Ludwig. Absolutely, in my opinion. The regulatory clarity, the ETFs coming, the FASB guidelines that are now out in 24 and so on and so on. The guidelines are there. The ETFs being approved is going to unlock the floodgates for all these financial, advisors that don't know anything to get their people into Bitcoin. 30 trillion potential in the UK in the US could come in. 50 trillion, globally. Don't be out of the market. Look at what's going on here. The macro tailwinds. When the interest rate comes down, that is good for risk assets. When they print money into the system, that is good for risk assets. Bitcoin is still at the moment a risk asset. So everything I'm showing you is good for Bitcoin. Then we've got all the advancements that are coming in Bitcoin. Taproot. We've got Lightning. We've got Liquid. We've got all these things that are being built on top of Bitcoin. It is just an incredible time to be alive. And again, coming back to the thumbnail, you just don't want to be out of the markets. Don't try and time these markets by listening to these traders. They may be very good at what they do. For example, I do follow Invest Answers. Now, I follow him because he pulls out some good figures on Bitcoin. The moment he talks about these other pairs and this pair and that pair, I just fast forward. I don't want to know. But I do want to know what they're saying about the markets, what could happen because of this and because of that. But what I do is that just helps me that if there's a drop, I know there may have been a reason for it, even though I don't understand it, if that make some kind of sense. So I just feel that you, and again, he says, when there's a blow off top, get out of the market. Yeah, brilliant. And then let it drop and buy back in. Brilliant. But what if you think there's a drop coming because an analyst said so? Yeah. And then you dump some Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin drops a little. You think it's going down a lot, so you're going to buy back in lower, and then in a heartbeat it does a U-turn and goes off to the races. For me, as a non-financial guy, I'm not taking any risk with my Bitcoin. No way. So therefore, if it does what gold did when the gold ETF was approved, I believe, and quote me if I'm wrong, someone, Casso would know this definitely, I think gold went up in a bull run for 8 straight years. And Bitcoin is better, harder, sounder money than gold. So why couldn't Bitcoin go and do that as well? And you might get a little bit of a correction, think that's the blow off top because of some analyst, and bang, it goes off to the races again. I ain't risking it. You've got, I love this one, there is no marketing department for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin marketing department has always been us Bitcoiners. That is it. But now, all of a sudden, if you wait to the video at the end, you will see the Bitcoin marketing in full swing. And it is out there because of all these ETFs that are going to be approved. Okay, I'm not going to say gonna, because there's every chance they could still get denied. But all the analysts are saying that it looks like 90% they're coming. Institution FOMO / game theory. Look, people, I'm not brilliant with finance. I don't understand finance. I do understand how to run my family's finances and basic finance. But in terms of Wall Street and London stock market and, treasuries and bonds and, oh my God, I get an headache, right? I don't want to learn that stuff. I'm learning the fringes of it because I'm in Bitcoin. But here's the thing. You got to understand that when one comes in, others are looking. When 10 or 20 come in, hundreds are starting to think, we don't want to be left behind here. That is called game theory. The institutional FOMO is already here. Mark my words. And just stay in the market and come and tell me at the end of 2024 whether I was wrong to give you that sort of advice. So if we have a look at some of the headlines out there, I'm tending to use a lot of LinkedIn information. Purely, I don't know, I just find LinkedIn, you get more professional people on there. So I'm following a lot of Bitcoiners on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile was always linked to my other business. So I've sort of steered away from it. But looking at LinkedIn more and more as we speak because of the professionals that are on there. I actually get really impatient with all the daft, silly Twitter fighting and backbiting and backstabbing. And I just want to hold my Bitcoin, help anyone I can not to get rug pulled or wrecked by a scammer by doing these shows. And I can't be arsed at all the infighting and squabbling on Twitter. It's all babyish and childish to me. That's just me. It is just me. I do use Twitter, but I'm using Nostr as well. More and more, I want to be using Nostr as it grows. So Swan Bitcoin, this was on LinkedIn. Bitcoin's already a healthy network. Yes, it is. It's already gone from nothing to 850 billion in economic energy. It's on a course to 10x that and 10x that again with no change to the protocol as far as I can see, according to Mr. Saylor. Whiskey Bravo Mike, good to see you in the house. Barge Dobnik, I think I gave you a shout out. Good to see you all. Smash the like button. Go into the show notes. Don't forget to register for the Orange Pill app. It's all in the show notes, people. You got this one from Blockworks. BlackRock discloses new information Friday in an amendment to its spot Bitcoin ETF proposal. The identities of intended authorized participants for the planned fund. Hey presto, BlackRock plans to tap JP Morgan Securities and Jane Street as authorized participants, a Friday filing notes. Now, what's the point of this? JP Morgan, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't their CEO come out and slam Bitcoin and wish it would be banned? and yet don't do and listen to what he says. Listen to what they're doing at JP Morgan. They are involved in the space. If they come out and say they are, price is going to go through the moon, and they want to buy as much Bitcoin as they can, as cheap as they can. Now, this one's an interesting one from Daniel Batten. He wrote an article in Bitcoin Magazine, which I read this morning, which I encourage you to read. It helps you to deal with the FUD machine that will always be out there. And he said, just in, I did some analysis recently on Bitcoin mining in the United Arab Emirates, I should say, and found that it is already improving water scarcity there, and that's why they're using it. In fact, there is evidence this strategy could be rolled out to other arid regions to help their pressing water security issues. A little bit of that article here, I'm going to read it. The places in the world where water is the most scarce, becoming even scarcer, is the Middle East. For these nations, desalination is the ideal solution, which is why 53% of all desalination now occurs in the Middle East. However, desalination is carbon intensive and energy intensive. Bitcoin mining helps address both problems. Firstly, it helps the carbon intensity by making Middle East solar deployments more profitable by being a buyer for energy that otherwise would have been wasted. Secondly, it makes desalination plants more profitable by allowing them to generate Bitcoin and use the waste heat from ASICs for desalination, which means these plants can profitably desalinate more water. In short, far from being the source of concern to global water usage, which is a FUD narrative that's out there, Bitcoin is helping the places in the world where water is scarcest to secure their water security profitably without jeopardizing their emission targets, something no other technology can currently do. People, when you do the research, you draw the conclusions that you need to be in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is incredible for the world. If you don't do any research, if you don't read articles like I do from Bitcoin Magazine and the like, all you're doing is being pushed around by the mainstream media FUD machine. Excuse me. So I thought that was a really great article. This one doesn't surprise me. And for those of you that are all over Bitcoin, you've seen all this because I only go live twice a week. And of course, last week, I only did one show because it was New Year's Day. So there wasn't one this Monday. So some of this is old hat. But here's the thing. The DOJ torched after prosecutors announced Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX will not face trial on illegal political donations. I wonder why. That is going to expose all the politicians that he donated to. Maybe some backhander stuff going on, So, of course, that's going to get squashed and it's going to be pushed under the carpet because the politicians are pulling the strings and they do not want to get themselves in the poop. So, therefore, this type of thing happens, which drives me insane. But it is what it is. This is, again, on LinkedIn. Another LinkedIn from Mickey Koss. I'm not expecting another micro strategy, but I do think some companies will start dipping their toes into Bitcoin soon enough. What do you think? Game theory at play yet again, people. And if you don't understand the game theory, you don't know what's going on. Here's another one. LinkedIn again. I love this one. This is tongue-in-cheek from Dan Held. My cards. Showing his cards, which I thought was really, really neat. So that was... a little bit of light-hearted tongue-in-cheek. So Twitter, Bitcoin Archie, or Archie from Bitcoin Archive. Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin should be banned, which I covered a few minutes ago. Now his bank JP Morgan has been named as an authorized participant on BlackRock's ETF app, the biggest name in fund management. Watch what they do, what not, what they say, which is what Whiskey Bravo Mike just put in the chat. And it is so true, is it not? Here's one from the Wolf of Wall Street, or Scott Melker. Major banks have paid $385 billion in penalties for fraudulent and illegal activity since 2000. Here is a list of the top 10 worst offenders, how much they have paid, and the number of violations. See any familiar names here? Have you seen their CEO say Bitcoin is only for criminals? Well, there you go. Look at the list of these banks that have been dealing in corrupt activities. Jeremy, welcome. Good to see you. So my point, Bitcoin is honest money, hard money, sound money for humanity that these lying, cheating bar stewards cannot manipulate and corrupt to their own end. Bitcoin is freedom money. It gives you an escape valve. Christine Lagarde from the IMF, whatever she is now, IMF, I think, from the Euro or something, Euro Parliament. And now, she said Bitcoin is an escape valve. Yeah, it flipping is an escape valve. And if you don't latch on and stack hard with that escape valve before these ETFs get approved and the halving comes around, you can still buy Bitcoin. And I would encourage you to still stack. But instead of getting 2,271 sats for $1, you might end up getting 1,100 sats. If it goes up big time, you might even get 900 sats, 800 sats. And that's what's coming. So right now, your dollar's going to get you 2,271 sats. So why not stack and enjoy those sats? And then at the end of 2023, as always, Saylor tweeted this, which I think is awesome. This year's winner. Look at it all. Which asset do you want to be in? Bitcoin is up 158% for the year. Nasdaq 43, S&P 24. This has probably changed slightly now, but this is for 2023. Gold 14%. Okay, well, at least it's not flat on zero, but it is if you zoom out a decade. Bonds 2%, silver 1%. Which asset do you want to be in? It's your call. I know which asset I want to be in. I am in. I'm staying in. I'm stacking. I smash bought a large amount a few days ago when the fees were low, so that was pretty neat as well. But then, like I said at the top of the show, if you weren't with me, it then promptly dropped $4,000. But it is what it is. It's rebounded back, and we're halfway back to where it was when I smash bought. So I'm okay with that. It's the sats that matter, not the dollar value of the sats. Okay, so now on to my video of the day. It's only about a minute and a half, but here's the thing. I've put a little correlation is the wrong word, compilation together. For those of you that are not aware, and I'm sure most of you are aware, okay, these ETFs are going to be approved. Why? Because you would not have the likes of BlackRock, Van Eck, Bitwise, and others bringing out their advertising videos about Bitcoin. And I've put a compilation of 4 of them together for you right now. And this is where the FOMO will kick in. This is where the game theory will come from. And we're seeing this thing start to play out. So for those of you that haven't seen these, here's a quick minute and a half of the adverts that are already out there. So imagine the adverts that are going to be out there in a year, 2 years, 5 years. It is going to be like game theory at play like you've never, ever seen it before. Here we go.
You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin.
Cut. What if we get him?
You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin. Look for Bitwise, my friends.
And by the way, before we go on to the next one, you could not have imagined mainstream institutions running videos positive about look for Bitcoin, my friends. When I got into Bitcoin in 2017, you wouldn't have seen it in 18, in 19, possibly a little bit in 2020, but here it is. It's all here.
You know, it's amazing to me the tremendous impact that the home computers have had on everyone, and yet it seems that people I've talked to say that it takes you longer to do something by putting it into a computer and calling it up again than if you just kept simple records yourself in the house.
Bitcoin's time has arrived. That is out there for the world to see now. Not Bitcoin's a scam, Bitcoin's boiling the oceans, Bitcoin's bad for the environment. It is Bitcoin's time.
Thought you would like to know. Satoshi sends his regards.
Look for Bitwise, my friends.
Do you know something? It just seems like I blinked a heartbeat ago and you would never see Bitcoin mentioned by mainstream media. And it's starting to happen. Everyone's talking about positive about it. This is not the time to be out of your Bitcoin position. This is not the time to try and time the markets to sell at the top and then buy back in low, because you're going to catch a cold. You're going to lose all your Bitcoin. Please do not do it. Just buy it, hold it. If you're regular like me, buy it, hold it offline in cold storage, secure your keys, your seed words, whatever you call them, and stack more as and when you can, and just hold. That is all you need to do. It is no different to when I left school and got into the workplace, and my parents and my grandparents used to say to me, you need to put a little bit of money into savings for the future. Bitcoin is a savings technology for the future. Right now, store of value. Great big tick. We have medium of exchange starting to happen, and more merchants accepting it. But right now, store of value, store your energy, your labor over time. The value will go up as opposed to leaving your money in the bank where you can end out. It's going to devalue every year. Torup, good to see you live, sir. Don't often catch you live, but great to see you in the house live. So, quickly back to the desktop. You know I love quotes. Here's a good one. Push yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you. Now, how do I link that to Bitcoin? People, push yourself to learn about why Bitcoin. Push yourself to get a second job so you can stack sats and don't be lazy. Push yourself to learn about why you should be in Bitcoin. Push yourself to learn how better to go out and orange pill someone, because no one's going to do it for you. Trust me. So you've got to be self-driven if you want to be at the cutting edge of this Bitcoin revolution. You are at the cutting edge by buying and holding Bitcoin. You'll be even more at the coalface and the cutting edge if you learn. Give up a bit of that rubbish TV time. Not saying don't watch some TV, but give some of it up and learn about Bitcoin. Follow the podcasters that I follow. Swan Bitcoin do some good stuff. Natalie Brunel, Preston Pish, Nico and Opti at Simply Bitcoin, BCC Sessions, BitcoinMaster, thousands of shows on his BitcoinMaster channel. That's taking personal responsibility and pushing yourself, because I'm telling you, no one else is going to do it for you. If you want to support my show in 2024, and I say this, you do not have to. The only reason I put this up is because people reach out all the time and say, look, you haven't turned on Super Chat on your YouTube. How can we support you? There you go. If you want to support me, there's 4 Lightning Sats addresses. There's a buy me a cup of coffee with crappy fiat address. By the way, somebody bought me 5 coffees on the last show last week, and I can't remember who you were, but thank you. 5 coffees. Much appreciated. I can't thank you enough, and it's just escaped me who it was right now. So that is the first UKBitcoinMaster Bullish Bitcoin channel live stream under my belt for 2024. Glenn McClan from Dublin. Good to have Dublin in the house. I'll be back on Monday with another live show. So come and join me then, 6 p.m. London, wherever you are. If you want a bullish conversation, come and join me. Rocky Palumbo's in the house. Good to see you. You better go back to the beginning and watch from the start, Rocky. But anyway, either way, thanks for joining me, everyone. Please retweet this, share it out. It goes up on Rumble, BitChute. It goes out on podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, and all those podcasts. Please go into the show notes after the live stream is finished and leave a comment because it spanks the YouTube algorithm. Would appreciate that. And for those of you that are in the 21 million club, there has been an email gone out. I hope you've all got it. And we've got that one coming up a week Saturday, so I'm pretty excited about the first one of the year. But that's it. Enough of my rambling. Thanks for being here. Thanks, as always, for your support. I will say we got 50 current viewers and 39 likes. So come on. For those of you that maybe you just as an oversight and you forget, go in and click like, please, and then share it somewhere. I'd greatly appreciate it. That's it. I'm done. Social media links coming up as always. I'm Brian, the UK Bitcoin Master. This is your bullish Bitcoin channel. I'll be back on Monday with another live stream. Until then, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and weekend. I'm out of here. Catch you all on Monday.